listening to the Palmetto Dugout Show, hosted by State Director Sammy Esposito, Associate Scouts Drew Stewart and Sean Smith, that discuss all things related to amateur baseball in South Carolina. Here are your hosts.
Welcome into the Palmetto Dugout Show, episode 125. Big episode here, but we got Sean Smith, Sammy. What's going on, boys?
What's happening? We doing all right?
A little tired, but I'm good.
Tired.
Tired. It's
tired. Coach, you worked part of a day today.
Part of a day, yeah.
You had a couple lightning delays.
More than a couple.
What you hung out in the air conditioning in the towers?
Then I had to talk to you. That just wears me out, you know.
Damn right, boy. It ain't built. He ain't built different. You know what I mean?
Something like that.
I thought those Midland boys were. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a Georgia guy. Sorry.
Damn. Back in the stomping grounds.
Sean is back in his stomping grounds this week. As many of you know, it's the biggest uncommitted event in the country this week. And we'll kind of start off with that, but we won't start with future games. We'll get to that last. However, tomorrow starts an event that's recent. The Senior Future Games kicks off tomorrow with workout and gameplay. Coach, big day for the seniors.
Big day. Year two for the Senior Future Games, and this was a big hit last year, and just continues to grow and get bigger. Last year we were paired up with us, Georgia, and Florida. This year it's just us in North Carolina to combine for the Team Carolina. So, makes it a little bit better this year, I feel, because we get more players from the great state of South Carolina, just like North Carolina gets more players from North Carolina. Gets added on there, so you get more opportunities for players from each state to come out and kind of give, another lasting impression on these coaches as summer winds down. But I think this was a big reason, right? We've talked about it before for this week, why the jump in coaches for this event. Last year we talked about there's 425 college coaches that showed up, that checked in for this event. And I think this was a big reason because it brings in a different dynamic of college coaches that show up to watch these players that maybe in the past haven't shown up for the future games. And so I'm excited to get this thing rolling tomorrow. They'll start to check in 9, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then their workout gets rolling, and what our guys come in at 2 o'clock, and then our first game's tomorrow night at 7. So excited to watch these players. We got a good group, good crop of players, and we added a couple late, right? We always talk about how important our events are. We had an event on, Drew, was it Tuesday?
Yeah.
At Wofford, and we added 2 players from that event. One of them was able to was added because we had a player recently commit to a college. Actually, we got a message in the middle of that event saying he had committed, so it opened up a roster spot. But we're really fired up. We got a couple kids, a few players from last year that were on the future games that kind of lit up some eyes that were down here, and 5 returners from last year, and I know some of those guys are talking to some schools currently, so hopefully they're able to kind of open up some different dynamics. And I think one thing that's neat this year, we're playing some teams from different areas of the country, and I think that's also a really neat thing for these players that opens up more doors, right? When we're playing, I think we're playing Mocan, right, game 1, so that Missouri, Kansas area. So there might be some college coaches that are going to watch those guys play. Well, maybe one of our guys kind of opens up some eyeballs to some schools in that area. And, not that we want our players to leave the state, but it just opens up more doors for those guys and different eyeballs to go out there and play. So we're fired up to kind of get this thing rolling, and we'll meet them over there at Lake Point for check-in at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and get their gear and get everything going. And then they got a few testing things before their workout. So fired up to get this crop in it. We got some power arms. We got some guys coming back and getting healthy. And I think our righties are arm-wise, we got some low 90s guys. We got a young man that's coming off of an injury that's full bore that is going to be mid-90s arm if I had to project here in the near future. So we got a very talented crop, and then obviously we got some hitters and some defensive players that are going to definitely open some eyes, that know how to play the game of baseball, that have won at a high level across high school baseball and are continue to do so. So I'm fired up to get this thing rolling.
Sean, go ahead. I know you got to say something, Sean.
No, absolutely. It's going to be a fun one. No, I think the more rewarding part of it all is just seeing the guys that, were able to kind of step out and show their thing at the future games last year. Now are getting an additional opportunity to go out there and do their thing in front of some college coaches. So just maybe even, for those guys that if they've made another step, let's say in the last year, that this is going to be another opportunity for them to go out and do their thing. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it all.
I'm always looking forward to it. Fun time. Hey, but anyway.
I do want to touch on this real quick while we're talking about these guys, right? This has been a highly coveted roster spot, right? The amount of text messages and calls that we have received in the past 2-3 weeks asking if we got any roster spots on this. It's daily. It's multiple times throughout the day. Just people asking, "Hey, do you have any roster spots? Do you have any roster spots?" And none of us can predict the future, but it almost seems like the way the recruiting world's going out there, this event might turn into a state-only kind of moving forward, but no telling how that one's going to go. But, right, it's nonstop. How are we getting there? How do I get my guy in there? How do I get this guy in there? How did you get there? Well, we just touched on it, right? We had 2 players show up to an event last week with the hopes of making this team. Right, and it worked out. And we had known about them. One coming off an injury, we didn't know how he's going to be. We knew about the other one because he'd come to some other stuff, and we saw him. He came to an event in the winter. We saw him in the high school season. Boom, came back again. And all these guys we had seen numerous times throughout the year. But right, how do we get there? We've talked about this all the times. How do I get to these things? Well, they proved the path right then and there. Right. And just because we have an event leading up a week and a half out never means that door is closed. We're always going to try to leave that spot open, whether it's to our senior future game roster or our junior future game roster going in there. We're always going to leave that spot open, but it's this has become a highly, highly coveted roster spot leading into this event starting tomorrow. So, And we could have filled an entire team ourselves with some very talented players from the great state of South Carolina. And I wish we could have brought more, but it is what it is when it's all said and done. And we got 12 talented players that will get out there and show the world what they got.
With that being said, we're going to kind of dive in just a little bit here. So we've got, 12? Yep, 12 guys. We'll talk about 6 total here, two apiece here. We'll start off with Sean, like putting Sean on the spot. 2 guys that kind of standouts for you going into the senior future games.
Right off the hip, just thinking about seeing Parker Davis, finally coming all the way back from. I know he's been dealing with an injury in the last year or so, and got an opportunity to see him in high school season and all this kind of stuff. So he's an arm that I know obviously has been in the upper 80s, low 90s from the left side, and good athletic player. And I know he's running around. He was running around the outfield for his high school team last year. So yeah, he's a guy that I've definitely got my eye on. I think is going to have a good opportunity to have some success and hopefully get some more eyes on him that maybe he wouldn't have without going to this event.
Yes, Bo, it's you.
All right, I'm gonna roll right here. I'm gonna stay. This Justin Ionetto. So this we've got a chance to watch Justin throughout high school. We got a chance to watch Justin at the border battle. Strong, athletic middle infielder, kind of can play all over the place in the infield. Right-handed hitter that's got some juice, and he was running balls out of the ballpark at UNC Charlotte at the border battle there. Kind of can bounce around, kind of see how he plays defensive wise for us, kind of where we put him in there over these few days. But Justin's got physicality sticks out right off the bat. He looks good in the uniform, and he's going to go right in there and put in there. But the way he kind of handles the bat is going to fit right in there, especially with some of these arms that's going to come out there. But looking forward to see how he performs right in there.
I'm going to stick on the train. Coach, you kind of alluded to it previously. We had a guy attend an event very recently, and I'm going to stick with Purcell here. Had an arm injury, slowly coming back, kind of pitched for Daniel at the end of the season there, but hopped on the mound, and it was legit 88. Looked good, athleticism, spun the ball well. We were kind of like, damn, that's pretty good. But he also hit well too, so it showed you that athleticism there with positional stats and at the plate. So I think he's got a shot to open some eyes very quickly at senior future games.
Absolutely. And rolling in the next guy too, we've got Charlie Scott, who now we've seen a number of times, whether it's through high school season at different events. We most recently saw him at that Palmetto Blacksmith Scout Day at Columbia International. I mean, he was doing his thing. He's tooled up. He's got some pop in the bat. He runs a 6'6", 6'5", 60. He can really run it down in the outfield as well. Good arm on the mound. He's not going to pitch in this event, but he's got the arm strength in there as well, which he can throw it around in the outfield too. And I remember seeing him, Sammy, at the Forest Acres Classic, leading off that ball game with a big tank out there to left center at AC Flora, and he's always been doing his thing. Obviously a future gamer last year too, and I just think he's going to be another guy that's going to open some eyes as hopefully have some pretty good game performances as well and kind of show his stuff. So looking forward to seeing Charlie out there.
Yeah, I'm go back onto the mound. I'm looking forward to watching how Parker Rivas does on the mound. So Parker had come to some events in the past, and Parker was a two-way, right? Infielder, always had a big arm, kind of becoming now primarily a pitcher only down there at Carolina Forest. But Parker has been run the fastball up to 90, 92 miles an hour. So really looking forward to watching his growth and seeing how he kind of steps his game up and continues to perform. But I remember he was at a preseason All-State down in Charleston a year or so ago, and I remember watching him field ground balls. He's got good actions and just whipping some balls across the infield. And you go, God almighty, the boy can throw. But now, obviously, as he's continued to progress and transition and over onto that mound, reports from him throughout the spring, velocity was climbing, and it's done the same throughout the summer. So really looking to see how he does so far for us this week.
I'm going back to the event, Coach. If you're going Kaido here, Green, you remember we were about to run the 60 there, and you asked him, said, "What are you going to run?" I think he said like a 7.5, right?
Yeah.
Kid goes out and runs a 6.99, and he was cheering as he walks back. But really good kid, a good 6.99 runner there, 90 across the infield. He can put a lot of weight on that frame and be an even better ball player. Power potential can be there. Kid's gonna run around and play some good baseball. Could open some eyes as well too. I'm going with the two late ads.
Yeah, hey, switch hitting infielder too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to not like those guys. So,
hey, we'll see those. No one mentioned Daniel Head, and he's been lighting the
God almighty,
93.
Yeah, does that work? Is that good?
I don't know.
I mean, we could talk about all these guys. I mean,
Yeah.
we turn this show into an 8-hour show, but the fun part about this one is talking about a lot of these guys post event, right? This is going to be the good show, or mid event show on this one, talking about this and how well these guys have performed, because we know these guys are going to perform well. Right? We're going to talk about Luke Young. We're going to talk about Robert Winsky. They're talking about a lot of these guys that are really good players, but I have a feeling we're going to be talking about a lot of these guys here mid event when we bust out this podcast after the seniors here. I'll stop talking.
Hey, you'll see the seniors all over the Twitter sphere tomorrow. Maybe on Instagram and Facebook. Who knows? Make sure you're following the accounts to see that. Anyway, we'll move on down the list here. The junior future games is here yet again. The third team, South Carolina team, will take the field. And we think, actually, no, we know that we have a pretty good team here.
We got a good feeling about this group. It's always hard. The junior futures team to build is always hard, right? You never know how a rising ninth grader, whether they come to one of our Rising Stars events, whether they come to one of our regular events, whether we see them throughout tournament play, high schools, whatever it is, you just never know how they're ultimately going to shake out here at this part. So we're, but the one thing we do know is we got some good athletic guys. We got some guys that have, which, analytics aren't always, data isn't always the end all be all, but we got some guys that put up numbers, not like they're rising ninth graders. We got some guys that are putting up some numbers like they're rising seniors. And that's the one thing that I think really sticks out. We got some guys that, and the one thing I think that's really impressive with this group, we have a lot of guys that have played varsity baseball already. And that's and this isn't like we're playing varsity baseball on Podunk High School U team out there that has like 20 kids at the high school. We got kids that are playing varsity baseball and being the stars on the varsity baseball team on some really talented and very winnable teams that are making deep playoff runs throughout the year. So we're fired up about getting on the field with this group. We have a chance to, I don't know, maybe we'll see if we can shake out and be a little bit better than fourth a couple years ago. So I don't know. We'll find out and see how this one goes, but we're gonna we joked about it all the time. This is one of our better events we're always a part of. It's always fun to be around this group of kids, group of guys, and just the interaction with them and kind of see how they roll. So we're excited to get them rolling. And this one's a little bit later on the back end of the week. We'll get cranked up with those guys on Thursday.
Only got one thing to say for that one. That's we're playing Saturday night. That's the goal here. We're looking to go 2-0 and have a gold bracket game, hopefully at 8:30. No weather delays on that Saturday. That's what's happening. So we're playing on Saturday night at 8:30 at one of those Lake Point fields with hidden in that gold bracket. So that's the goal here for us, and we're hoping to achieve it with this group of guys.
That's what I'm talking about, Shawner.
Every junior futures team that we've brought has shown well, Coach. You go back to even last year, right? You didn't play well in pool play, but my God, I feel like we played 17 bracket games.
And last year we wound up having a pretty good team down here, right? That obviously played well at the back end, but it took them a little bit, right, to kind of get going. And we talked about it on the call with this group. You face some talented players that maybe you're not seeing on a daily basis, right? We run out there against Indiana last year, and the kid's throwing 88 miles an hour. I don't care who you're playing with. That's hard. That's hard for an average high school player. It's hard for an average 16U player. So you're running out there and you're a 14U player and you're facing that. That's going to be hard to put up some numbers, but we got some arms. We got some arms this year that are going to be out there, be able to compete with if we run into someone like that. So, but we'll be able to showcase them and put them in a good environment and let them get after it.
We'll get Indiana and Arizona early. We'll see what happens after that. So we'll kind of dive in here as well. Same thing, two guys that you think are going to stand out moving forward in junior future games. This will start on Thursday, right, Coach? Thursday.
Yep, workout Thursday.
Sean, take us away.
I'm going to start with the easy one, and that's Nolan Nichols, the left-handed pitcher from Hanahan, or headed to Hanahan High School now. He had some varsity experience. That was one that we noticed down at the shipyard tournament to open up the high school season for us. And we're like, whoa, who's this lefty who's like 82 to 84? And they go, hey, that's an eighth grader. And we're like, whoa, we need to see this kid as much as we can. So got another chance to see him down there during the high school season, and been keeping track of him as he's thrown during the summer circuit as well. And glad to have him on the squad, and hopefully go out there and throw some pretty hot bullets coming in there. So hopefully see some success there from that lefty. So looking forward to see Nolan out there on the mound for us.
Good. Guys, I'm fired up for this. This is year 2 we've had a college coach's son on our team. Last year we had 2 of the Clemson coaches' kids on our team with Coach Backage's son and Coach Noble's son on the team. This year we got Coach Pollock's son at PC with Trey Pollock, and I'm fired up for this one because talking to Coach Pollock on this one, he's like, look, I am not into all this fancy fielding. I'm into pretty clean. But he goes, and I think as a dad, my son ain't good enough, but as a coach, my son's good enough. He goes and he can do it all. He makes all the fancy. So I'm real fired up to watch him with all his actions and all his smoothness. Oh, and by the way, he gets on the mound and runs it up there 83, 84. So I'm kind of fired up to watch him and see the moves and actions that he's got out there in the infield. And this is the neat one. And this gets lost a lot of time because we got to go, oh, I'm an infielder, or I'm this. He can bounce around, go in the outfield, and go in the infield, go on the mound. He can kind of go all over the place. He's a ball player. So fired up to see him and a good athlete and, football player over there at that Dutch Fork High School. So obviously got a little toughness, got a little athleticism. So fired up to see him. And last Dutch Fork player we had was pretty good from last year. So we'll see how this one goes.
Where's he going to school?
He's a Tiger now, baby.
We need to roll them Tigers?
Roll them. This shouldn't be a shock. I'm going Nathan Good here. Power up, boys. Anyway, but joking aside, we saw Nathan early. One thing he's going to fill out a uniform very quickly for junior future games. Very physical, big kid. Gets it done at the plate. Also on the mound as well. But I think on the mound, I remember watching him as he's throwing a bullpen with me, and he's literally talking to himself the whole entire time he's throwing a bullpen. So it'll be interesting to see how he performs, but I think he's going to show out. I think he had a great summer, and he'll carry that into junior future games. It could be a big guy for Team South Carolina.
No doubt about it. I mean, Nathan Good, yeah, probably. You think he's the most physical on the team? He might be.
It's close.
Yeah, might be him or maybe McCrory. I don't know, something like that. But
yeah.
Rolling into my next guy here, I'm going to take. Let me pick here. Give me Dylan Tremblay. I'll go with another power up guy here. We saw him running around at that showcase down there with at BC with our power up guys down there, and he was just a little guy. I mean, he kind of a wiry frame, but a good athlete, and you saw that in the swing. Some good hand speed. I think he was hitting at the top of the order that following week in Charleston down there, and. Guy who runs around, plays shortstop. I don't know if he hops on the mound at all. It's definitely a middle infielder and, going to have some good athleticism in there. And hopefully a guy that we can kind of stick at the top of the order and maybe set the table for some bigger guys in there. But he's a guy that, once he puts on a little bit more weight, that swing's really going to play. And I think he's got a chance to have a lot of success down there at the junior future games.
I'm going to flip over here to Parker McCrory. Excuse me here. But, talking about a player come to an event. So we're sitting there in Columbia, right, at the Team Carolina Trials / Rising Stars in Columbia. Right, we start off defense right off the bat. We do catcher, and Parker's back there throwing. And I go, who's this kid? Right, like, a lot of times you don't know a lot of these young guys we joked about. First couple throws, and it's like, well, there's one of our catchers for the junior futures games. We need to add this one on here. So, and then obviously he gets in the bat and kind of, does his deal with that. But obviously, athletic, got some strength to him. But Parker really kind of caught our eye right off the bat at that Team Carolina Trials Rising Stars event here in Columbia. So I'm really looking forward to see how he handles a good pitching staff along with our other catchers we have down here, but also how he does it with the bat. But obviously he's got some size and strength. Another football player, so good athleticism, good toughness, and catcher. I mean, hell, can't be any tougher than the catcher, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it goes from there.
I can't be a homer here, so I can't power up again. However, we're going with a late ad here. Briggs Talbert, left-handed pitcher up to 85. Coach, Sean talked about Noah Nichols. We got Talbert here. This team could closely rival the first Team South Carolina team in terms of pitching. Who knows? Watch out. We've got Pollock.
Only time will tell.
But Talbert's very talented as well and could put up some big numbers. And who knows when we'll see him. But that's another big get.
Drew, let me cut you. I'm gonna add one more too here. Hampton Watts is he's a 2-time Rising Stars ID participant, and to me he just kind of forced our hand. We went out there and I remember seeing him. It was at the indoor facility back in January, and had some good arm strength. You know, it's hard to tell what exactly the bat's going to look like, you know, when you're just hitting in a cage. But came out there and he was 80 miles an hour from the outfield, and then back there in the summer just a couple of weeks ago down there at Founders, pretty much the same guy, if not a little bit better. You know, got a little bit stronger, got a little bit more athletic, but he's got a really good, strong arm out there. And, you know, I think that's going to play at any position. I know he's an outfielder by trade, but, you know, we might be able to stick him on the left side of the infield. I mean, seems like maybe he's the brother of Owen Watts, I want to say, also from Lexington, who also obviously had some success down there. So Hampton Watts is another guy that I'm shouting out just because he came to both of our events and said, "Hey guys, you're going to see me and you got to put me on the team." So shout out to Hampton. We're excited to see you.
Hey, I got to talk about a power-up kid. Sean gets to talk about a Lexington kid. We're all even. We're all even, boys. Oh. But nonetheless, excited to see the juniors roll out on Thursday. Expecting a big weekend for those guys. We can take down Coach Indiana's been legit for forever. Seems
Coach,
like they're in the final four here.
They pushed us around last year pretty good, so it's time for a little payback for the boys.
And then the year before that, was it the year before that, won the championship against Georgia, the team that we lost
against
to?
Georgia. Yeah.
Indiana. You got your number.
You're going down.
Yeah, it's over. It's over. But now the granddaddy of them all. The Future Games, the best uncommitted event in the country every year. And here it is. It's back again. And we got a really good team again for Team South Carolina.
You know, and I'm going to lead it off with this before we really start to get in our team. And I think the Future Games is becoming more and more important, as weird as this says, okay, or sounds, with recruiting world of how it's going, right? Like you talk to a lot of college coaches out there. This is really the start of their 2027 recruiting, or this year it's the 2027 class of recruiting, right? A lot of the times they've been stuck in the portal world, right? And then they're still trying to add a couple 26s, right? A lot of these schools, this is really the start of them starting to build their 2027 class. Maybe even a lot of the times their first looks, or it might be their second look at some of these kids. So this event, I mean, we talked about 425. I'm not going to say we're going to beat that number. I mean, that's a humongous number of college coaches in one setting, but I have a feeling it just is going to get more and more important as long as recruiting's going how it's going. Because for the month of June, college coaches aren't really worrying about that, nor can they do anything about it. And really, the early part of July, they're starting to transition because these college coaches are stuck in the portal for so long. They're trying to add for their team for the upcoming year. Rightfully so. It's the nature of the beast right now. So this Future Games is becoming more and more important. And you can go in one area and have a chance to play and perform in front of all coaches in one area. And there's only so many times, and us three guys have talked about this before, there's only so many times in your life as a baseball player, I don't care if you're in high school or in college, or hell, if you ever make it to the big leagues, there's only so many times in your life you have leverage. And when you have those opportunities for leverage, you got to take advantage of it. And here's one of those few times, if you get an opportunity to come play these Future Games, which is getting harder and harder and harder to make these teams, but if you have an opportunity to do this, you have to grab it and take advantage of this, because this is your opportunity. If somebody goes out there and runs up there 94, 95 miles an hour, somebody launches a few home runs out there doing it, guess what everybody's going to do? They're going to flock to them. August 1, their phone is going to be blown up nonstop. They're 6'6", and they hit a couple home runs, or they're a 6'4" right-hander that's 94, 95, left-hander with a nasty, whatever it is, right? The amount of power these kids are holding right now is out of control. And it's a one-stop shop to get it all. And that's what kind of fires us up to be able to bring a roster down here to put these players in this situation, to have this opportunity. And there's Drew, you said it, it's second to none. There's not another opportunity to where these players can get in front of that many coaches in one setting. And now you get an opportunity to do this. Now it's up to the players to go perform. Now, whatever they do from there. And that doesn't mean it's the end for it, because that's, right. We had the guys last year, those players last year in our future games team kind of got caught with that rule change. We'd have probably had a couple of those kids would have committed 1,000% last year if that rule wouldn't have changed. But that rule changed really in the middle of the future games last year. And so that kind of changed some things. But now these players have an opportunity to go out there and perform and open some eyeballs and make some money when it's all said and done.
That's what
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. They got an opportunity to go out there and make some money. So I'm fired up to have our guys go out there, little old South Carolina, go whip up on some people and open up some eyeballs and perform and show the world what they got.
The thing that intrigues me the most about it, I mean, Sammy, you and I were talking about it a little bit earlier today, but the fact that all of these players are uncommitted, you wouldn't have a scenario where say a Connor Wells, he's probably not, if it's the old rules, he's probably not still uncommitted at this point. All of these arms that we're going to see are probably some of the premier talent in the country. So what's really intriguing to me is going to see how the bats really play, how the offense kind of looks, because you talk about it a lot. There's a lot of chance if the pitching is going to be a little bit better than the hitting, that kind of a thing. So I'm intrigued to see which hitters have the best performance based off of the best arms that maybe they've seen back to back to back in their entire lives. And to me, that's really going to speak volumes on the quality of these hitters and things like that in the offense, and just kind of what they can produce off of all these high level arms. That's really going to be interesting to me.
No doubt, because a lot of these guys have faced good arms, right? But they might face the good arm, and nobody hits the good arm. Let's be honest. Like you get stuffed. But then how do you do against – then they bring in somebody else that's throwing like 82 miles an hour, right? Like there's not going to be that massive of a drop-off over and over again here this weekend. So how am I as a hitter going to combat myself, and how am I going to defend myself and do it against a premium arm after premium arm after premium arm after premium arm? And that will be fun to see. And the other part, we've talked about this before, how do you handle yourself as a hitter when those coaches are sitting there watching you? Because it's hard. They're not going to go, Drew Stewart didn't get any hits, I ain't going to recruit that guy. They're going to evaluate his ability. They're going to evaluate his bat speed. They're going to evaluate his swing. But if he goes into a shell and he pouts and he quits, they're going to evaluate that as well. So it's going to be a fun week. Be a fun week. See what happens. See if anybody can break the record set by a former Team South Carolinian, Andrew Palmer, on the home runs, by the way.
Watch out. It'll all get underway Wednesday with the workout. Team South Carolina would take on Team Select on Thursday, Team Southeast on Friday, and Fake Carolina on Saturday. The only one that matters is Saturday, guys. We might do a live podcast in the dugout.
In game
as we beat up on those Tar Heels. So for this one, as we kind of dive in, we're going to kind of do this one a little different than we have before, since it is the big event here. If I can get to it, here we go. We'll start off here with our catchers. We've got two former junior future alums. All three of these guys were super sophomore game alums, but all three very talented catchers. I'm done talking.
I'll start it off while nobody else talks. I'm going to talk about old Jackson Myers here. I'll fire this one off. So, Jackson came to junior futures, super sophomore. Was there this winter at an event, and Jackson. I think Jackson has a high level ability to catch and throw, right? And we saw it a couple years ago, right, when he was first with us with the junior futures team. And Jackson can really receive the baseball, and does a great job handling a pitching staff, and also has a really good short swing in there. But the first thing that really sticks out, he kind of has that old school kind of catcher ability around him. Kind of that defense first, where a lot of times it kind of felt like it was switching that offense. and that has nothing against his offense ability, but more of that I'm a defensive hard-nosed. And Drew, 2 years ago, I think when we were here, we had like a catcher and a half. And Jackson caught like 90% of the innings when we were down here. I think at that time we stuck States Far back there for the infamous TikTok we had. But
That's different. I think it's a different year.
Was that a different one? But Jackson kind of that was it.
Cody with him.
No, that was Cody. Yeah, that was Cody with him. But Jackson showed some toughness, showed some ability, but he can really catch and really show. But it's very clean mechanically back there. He's going to be a player wherever he goes off to. You're not going to have to worry about trying to teach the aspect of receiving and blocking in the game of catching back there for him. So he's going to be a fun one to watch handle some of these premium arms we have throwing for us.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Jackson now we've seen a number of times, and it'll be good to see him, kind of catch these high level arms as well, and hopefully he'll show off that receiving ability down there at the future games. But I'll roll over to a guy who's maybe more of an offense first guy, which is Cody Branham. He's a guy that obviously was another junior future gamer. Came down there 2 years ago, and has he hit the only home run in Team South Carolina junior future history? Maybe there's another one.
The ball still hasn't landed against Cajun country. It was Cajun country.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
He destroyed that baseball. I mean, it's a good and loose swing. I mean, he's adding on some physicality as well to it. We got to see him last January at a preseason All-State North up there in Rock Hill. He's a really good little player. He's got a good stick, and it's a good quick swing and good hands in there as well. He's a guy that's got a lot of power to all fields, and we'll kind of see where that bat takes him. And then on the defensive side too, he's got a good arm back there, some good transfers too. So going to have a good opportunity to show off his stuff as well. So Cody's a guy that we've had an opportunity to see now a number of times, and hopefully he gets to show off his stuff once we get down there to Lake Point tomorrow. Or Wednesday, sorry.
Yeah, get the dates right. Come on, Lake Point, yeah. But anyway, Corbin King's another one. He was compared to those two, kind of a late ad for us in terms of because those two were junior futures. Corbin was not, but Corbin looks like he could go sit up for Blue Ridge High School and play linebacker right now. So he's got a bright future ahead too. Tooled out a little bit, can catch and receive, can swing the bat pretty well. The swing's gotten better since we saw him before. So we'll see how he performs against some big time arms.
You also caused a little stink with one of his home runs at the Fall Top Prospect games last year.
It's still a homer. It's still a damn homer. It's still a homer.
I think that landed in Dabo's office over at the football stadium up there.
Still a homer.
At that baby field. Yep.
Damn.
Well, at least he keeps bringing up baby field, but yet the Gamecocks could not hit one out of that field. I don't understand why you keep calling it a baby field. It keeps getting worse for you every time you say it. So just don't say it anymore.
Sean, at least it went over like the stands.
I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see it. So it was probably a two-hopper to shortstop. So.
It was just foul, but we called it fair, but it's okay. Georgia didn't like it. It's okay.
Never tweet that. Those Georgia guys, who cares anymore? Oh, I'm sorry, Sean, my bad. We'll move on. Here we go to the outfielders. We've got four guys. Espo, you go ahead and start us off.
Okay, Finn Kusaba. I'm kind of fired up for Finn here. I mean, tools. Finn, we've gotten an opportunity to watch in showcases. We've gotten a chance to watch high school wise, tournament wise. The tools are there, and kind of excited to see how he performs this week in gameplay. But you talk about a guy who kind of looks in the uniform. He fits the bill right off the bat. But good runner, arm strength. Got all the bat speed. He kind of has all the tools. So I'm kind of excited to see how he's going to perform in the gameplay down here, because all the physical attributes kind of match up for Finn. So kind of a big one for us, and he stood out like a sore thumb in a good way every time we've seen him at a showcase.
No doubt about it. Another guy that's stuck out a number of times to us as well, Hudson Reardon, Legion Collegiate Academy up there in Rock Hill area. And, he's a guy that's just 6'3", 200-pound, big-time physical frame and left-handed swing. And he looks every bit of that frame when he's sitting there in the box. And, I mean, that swing is just it's got a lot of bat speed in there and, a lot of pull side power as well. And popped a 100-mile-an-hour exit velocity at the Charlotte Baseball Scout Day a couple months ago. So he's a guy that obviously he's doing us a favor as well. Going to stick over in the outfield. He's been playing a lot of first base, but he's going to go run around there in the outfield for us as well. So, just kind of that speaks to the character as well of him. And obviously really excited to see him kind of get in there. And he's probably – he might be my favorite bat on the team, Coach. I'm sticking my name right to that. So I think he's going to have a big time performance against some good arms down there, and I'm excited to see Hudson do his thing.
So we should go ahead and apologize to Hudson for this week. Then
I'm putting a lot of pressure on him, but I trust him.
We don't need to apologize, Sean. It's your fault.
Sean,
hey, don't let me with Sammy. You can take the last one, who I don't cover here, but I'm going Camden Finley, guy we saw early. Coach, he had a bunch of RBs, and he kind of got that velo up and swinging it well. but Cameron's
still stuck in that line.
Hey, nah, Coach. He ate up all that RBs. That's why that line's so long. Camden, big summer for him. Velocity has upticked big time. Swung the bat well this summer, and we've seen him. He's performed. I think he's going to be a very underrated player for Team South Carolina in the future games. I think he could pop some eyes very quickly in those future games. For him, hey, those Clinton boys. It's his second Clinton guy.
Remember last summer he came to top prospect games, and we're like, who in the hell is this kid? He's throwing bullets, launching balls, and we're like, God almighty. And we're like, he's how old? So he stuck out last summer when he came to the top prospect games down there in College Charleston, which, by the way, August 16th, while we're talking about top prospect games, we're about 50% full, 60% full in the roster. So go ahead and lock that one up. A lot of these players have been top prospect games before. Colt Babick right here. Colt, we've had opportunity to watch a lot of Colt over the years. He was junior futures, Team Carolina or Columbia ID in the winter. I remember Colt came to junior futures a couple years ago, dinged up. Remember? He had hurt himself in the either right before or something. Could only DH when he was here, but was still very impressive with the bat while he was here with us over that time frame. Colt had moved recently, switched schools, was at Hammond this past year. Sean, we got a chance to watch him at the Forest Acres Classic and stood there well, took some really good aggressive swings. Colt's got some. I mean, you're talking about staying out. He might have some of the better or the top end bat speed on this team. So it'll be the bat speed's going to play. It's, we'll see how he matches up, but the bat speed's going to stick out. He's an outfielder, infielder, can kind of do a couple things. We'll get him opportunity to work out. He's another one that can kind of do a couple things that's going to, kind of help out do the outfield thing, but get a chance to try to work out infield and outfield. But he's another strong, athletic, hitter that's got a chance to really look good in the uniform, but the bat speed is off the chart. So we're really looking forward to watching him launch a few balls out of here in Lake Point.
Babick, a returner. Let's move here to the end. Hey, got one that's we got to switch that off. This is the old graphic.
It's an old graphic. We had a late injury takeoff on here, so we can still talk about him because he was going to be on the team. But hey, the infield group, watch out, boy. I felt like the infield group, we could have kept adding guys. The state of South Carolina had a deep infield group, and the one I'm going to start with, and we got a couple no-brainers we can start with here, and one who we had a chance to see last fall, came to the fall top prospect games. Then he came back to the winter preseason All-States. But Pfeiffer Glenn, TL Hanna. Again, there's something in the water up there in TL Hanna with these shortstops coming through there. Been going on for many, many, many years. And it's going to continue to go on for many, many, many years because it just don't end. But Pfeiffer Glenn is prototypical shortstop build, long and lean, athletic. and the bat keeps continuing to progress in the right ways. Had some showing the power, kind of filling out, and you never want to compare, but kind of showing the progress like the last TL Hanna shortstop we had that came to the future games with us. So young Will Craddock, but Pfeiffer Gling's his own player. But I'm really looking forward to watch him move around on the infield and showcasing all his abilities all over the infield, but especially on that left side.
Absolutely, he's definitely one of the ones we're most excited to see. And hit a big bomb a couple weeks ago at a tournament down there at Lake Point. Got some good publicity on that one too. So hopefully he'll bring that same kind of energy to us coming up this week. But I'll stick over to the right side of the infield and give me Christian Spivey, the big thumper from Lexington High School. He's a guy that we've seen down. He was at our junior future games. He's been to a number of events. He's been tearing it up in high school season as well. I mean, that dude just does nothing but hit and hit for power. And it's a really easy swing. The bat speed is in there. I mean, obviously the physicality in the frame. He's over 200 pounds, 6'1", 6'2", standing height as well. So he's a guy that he's going to have an opportunity to really hit a lot of bombs. And I know that he's had a lot of success over the summer as well. So he's going to mix in at third base a little bit too. He's going to be able to show off some arm strength, maybe some mobility on that side too. So but he's going to stick over a lot at first. He's going to be our main guy over there. So really looking forward to seeing Christian against these high level arms as well. And he's another one that I think is going to have some success, kind of once he gets his feet underneath him and, sees some fastballs coming in. He's going to be a guy that's going to be able to time it up and hopefully show off his big time power. So excited to see Christian down there.
I want to stick on the underrated radar here. We'll see if somebody else picks the other guy. But I'm going to start here. Graham Coleman, a junior future game alum. Coach, remember we had him at junior futures? Hitters hit. A guy that you're going to look at like, he's probably okay. But when the game is being played, the kid just hits. Done it all summer. He did it at junior futures. Every time we watch him, he hits. He goes 2 for 3. It's not loud, but it's like, damn, you look at the box score, it's like, damn, he had a big day. And I think he's going to do the same at the future games. He's just going to hit. Hitters hit, baby.
And he can play all over the infield.
Yes.
And you got a runner on third, and you need to get him in. He's going to get him in. You got a runner second, you need to get him over. He's going to get him over. He's a ball player that knows how to get it done. So
he's not quite as athletic, but he reminds me a lot of Brady Gold, from a couple of years back. A guy that's just going to go out there and compete in the box, give you some good at bats, and maybe fire some line drives all around the field. So he's a guy that obviously we've had an opportunity to see too, and we're looking forward to seeing Graham down there.
All right, I'm gonna go on the obvious front here. I'm gonna go a little Trip Rips right here, Trip Ostergaard. So.
If you didn't go him, you were going to get a text. So it's
I still might get one right here. I should pick against him because every time we picked against him in high school season, I got a text saying they were still going to win, and damn it, they won every single time. But Trip, we always talk about events and how important they are for us, right? And evaluating of baseball players. I remember getting an email from his dad saying, "Hey, we're coming to the Team Carolina trials in Columbia, but we're going to be coming a little late." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's great. Come on down. We don't know who you are, but you plenty of time. We're good." And we're like, "Damn, this kid's good." Right? Comes to Charleston, and we invite him to the junior future games. Keeps wearing it out. Right? We do probably the worst. Me and him do the worst in-game interview in the history of in-game interviews. And that might be just as much as me as him. But and obviously we continue on super sophomore, preseason All-State. And this is more about, right, baseball players, right? And Tripp, to me, is a talented athlete, but also a baseball player. Right, we're at the preseason All-State last winter. And Sean, were you there? Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, you were there. Yeah, right. Drew, you remember, right? Me and Drew had to go out there and run around and shag, right? Players are leaving, right? They hit, they left. They hit, they left. You remember who stuck in the dugout and hung out the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Tripp, right? And that's what a baseball player does. They hang out because they're at a baseball field. And obviously his ability to play the game at a high level is fantastic. And he can bounce around. He's a shortstop. He's a second baseman. And obviously a very talented high school team with, Tripp and then Taj was here last year, and then Tripp's coming here this year. So obviously they got a very talented team over there at James Island, but can handle the bat, can run, can play anywhere, can pitch, can do it all. But a baseball player, and we just like we talked about with Graham, but can do it all over the field and handle the bat, and then also do it defensively. So very excited to watch him do it overall, defensively and offensively.
Absolutely, yeah. Sticking on another guy who kind of does it all is Mac Morris, the 2027 infielder. He attends the Baylor School over in Tennessee, but he just likes us so much he wanted to come back and play for us at the future game. So I mean, what are you going to say? So Mac does a whole lot of things. He's got a good arm over at shortstop. He can move around in the infield pretty well. And then the bat just speaks for itself. I mean, there's been countless videos of him. Obviously was previously committed, so that kind of tells you the talent level that we're dealing with here. And he's a guy that just, he shoots line drives all over the place. It's a good short swing, good quick hands in there as well. And he's a guy that I haven't had a chance to see him in person yet, but he's another one that I'm really looking forward to see and kind of have him bouncing around the infield and hopefully shooting some line drives into the gaps and hopefully for some extra base hits and hopefully stealing some bases as well. But, Mac's a really talented ball player, and we're looking forward to seeing him.
Great job, guys. You didn't take my guy. Right across from Grant Coleman is Carter Kelly. It is the Fury, baby. Hey, this is a kind of a newcomer for us in a way. We saw him coach preseason tournament, Shipyard. Again, back to it, hitters hit. This kid isn't one that's going to wow you. You look at him like, okay. Then he performs in a game. You're like, shit. Then he performs in the next game. And you keep going, right? Hitters hit. That's all it is, guys. This kid, I think, is going to be another one at a big summer. I think it's another one's going to open some eyes. Another underrated. I'm sticking with the little guys.
But, it's also, and we got a lot of these guys here, ball players too. He's a good runner. He can run. At the scout day at the beginning of the summer, ran well. Can't remember off the top of my head what his 60 time was, but had a good run. But he's a second baseman. He's a third baseman. He can play short. He can go in the outfield. That's very important. Every one of these kids that's here obviously wants to go off and play college baseball. Well, what if there's an All-American playing shortstop? Are you just going to go, I'm going to sit behind him? No, you're going to go try to play somewhere else. And if you're not willing to move and shake and do some things, then you're going to get run out of there. And off you go. So the fact that we've talked about all these guys, they can all move and play different positions and allows them the opportunity to get on the field more often. And that's a huge part. And I'll throw one here. We have him on the roster here, but Rome Dorenzo, he was an invite. He was coming. Rome's been dealing with a wrist injury since halfway through the high school season and was hoping to be healthy and ready to roll. He is healthy, but was hoping to get a couple tournaments under his belt, only get about a half of a tournament under there. So, but big, hard-hitting first baseman, outfielder. That was a junior future game and a super sophomore for us. So, Rome's got a bright future, big power hitter that can do multiple things, but I want to throw him out there while he's on the graphic on that one. We're not going to RIP him because he's still with us, but he will be missed. He'll be missed. He'll be missed this weekend.
He is the only player I've ever seen not have a hat on in his headshot, but he wanted to show the hair off.
He's got that pink bat too. We're going to miss out on the pink bat. That's
Hey, that photo right there, that was down there at our winter hitting league clinic down there at Mike Williams' place. Yeah, down there in Conway. So
our last position group here, we've kind of talked about. I mean, nope. Yeah, only talked about one of these guys. Yep, that would be Camden Finley. We talked about him a little bit earlier. So there would be 11 pitchers we've got here. We'll kind of go through them a little quicker. So, Espo, we'll start with you.
Coach, I'm fired up for Henry Rivers. Henry Rivers. So
Stags.
Stags, baby. Henry Rivers, right? 2 years ago, Diamond Devil Scout Day was there when we were in the monsoon and we were thrown inside. We're like, this guy's pretty good. Whatever. Goes, plays for the Stags. We see him early on. He's okay. Kind of getting a lot of pub this summer. We get him to Team Carolina trials in Columbia, right? The buildup, right? We have, I think, 30 pitchers that day. What's Henry do? Throw dead last, right? Comes firing out of the bullpen, and we're like drooling. We're like, let's do it, babe. Comes out and is firing. What was I don't even know what it was, like 88, 90 with spinning the hell out of a damn slider.
So was just jacked up with spinning a great slider. And then on top of that, runs down there after doing that all day long and goes down there and runs a 6.660. So I'm fired up to watch old Henry get down there and just tear it up.
Athleticism off the charts. I'm going to stick with another one, a basketball player, and Isaiah Posey from White Knoll High School. Big 6'5" frame, and over there at down there in the Lexington area, my backyard. He's the guy that I got to have a chance to see him. He was a junior future game a couple of years ago. He was a year younger, wasn't he? Wasn't he at 27 with all the 26? Maybe I'm making that up, but I thought maybe he was a year younger. But he was up to 80 miles an hour back then, and we were like, okay, this guy's gonna have something in the tank here. And he's been up to 90 miles an hour. Got to see him. Got some good publicity from our VP of scouting, Shooter Hunt. Got a tweet out of him a couple months ago down there at Lake Point 2, and just supreme athletically, and spins a pretty good breaking ball as well. So he's a guy that I'm excited to see down there at the future games.
Paint train.
Oh boy! Hey, I'm going Jackson Orby here. Coach, I think we saw him Shipyard maybe very early. I think Austin might have saw him. He was catching, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
It's like he's a big physical kid. And then we go and see him in the playoffs, and he comes in and pitches, and it's like, damn, this kid's pretty good. Big physical kid, tall, got a lot of room to add there, but it's upper 80s, and it's easy for him. Another kid that had a big summer, Coach, I think he could – you get that adrenaline running at Lake Point in the future games with all those coaches watching. I think we could be in some nines there early for OMB. Very easy for him. So, hey, all aboard.
I'm going on a limb here. I think this guy's going to do really well. Connor Wells.
Oh, damn!
You guys heard of this guy? You guys heard about Connor Wells? So right? A couple years ago, junior future gamer, come down, throws game one. Right? Can only come down for one day. Comes in, throws game one. and as he's like about to pass out on the mound of 754 degrees in our first game, finally gets the breaking ball going, and it's like say goodnight. And then Connor comes back last year, super sophomore game, kind of tinkered around with a couple things mechanically, comes out, has a phenomenal sophomore year, junior year, sophomore year this year at Dorman High School, and has continued the summer of just progressing. So Connor, obviously, 6'5", left-handed, low to mid-90s, power breaking ball, gonna have the world by the balls here. So he's gonna have whatever he wants to do here. Connor's a superstar. Say goodnight. Best pitcher in the country. Let's go get him. Connor, hey, by the way, whoever's listening, Connor's throwing game one, innings 1 and 2. Everybody pile in. Watch greatness. Let's go. Next.
It's special. I mean, another guy we'll be following him up in game one will be Mac Berry coming out, right? Game one? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Mac Berry, he's a guy who's been to a number of different events for us. We've had a chance to watch him. We saw him at the border battle. He came to Team Carolina trials last week. So, we've had a chance to see him a lot of times. And, the fastball, the velocity is not going to blow you away. But, once he finds that arm slot, it starts to tick up a little bit more. It's got a lot of life on there. He's got a good over-the-top breaking ball as well, 12-6 action on it. He could get some swings and misses there. We're going to, trying to kind of mix him in a little bit more, maybe with some higher octane guys. So maybe throw off that team select in game one, and, hopefully he'll miss some bats in there. So Mac Berry, looking forward to seeing him too.
Hey, I started a petition for Coach Esposito to be Mac Berry's pitching coach.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
If you don't know, go check his profile video out of his pitching. You'll see pitches 1 through 5 be from over the top, and pitches 6 to 15 will be 3/4.
I'm here all week for lessons.
I'm gonna stick in that game one range. With Braden Richardson, I think he coached 2 innings is what he'll pitch there. When he's in the zone, I think he's a really good arm. Upper 80s, can touch a 9. We had him as a junior future alum. Okay. Super sophomore too, right? And here he is for future games as a pitcher here. But I think this is his spot, and I think he could shine here for Team South Carolina in the first game. Hey, really competitive kid, good personality. We'll see how he performs.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Sean's hometown here and stick to Lexington. Ryder Carlson, I took his guy. Ryder Carlson.
You just ruined his mood.
I just ruined this. Ryder, big, 6'2", 170, 171 pounds, big, strong, projectable frame. And we got a chance to watch Ryder. He came to the preseason All-State down in Charleston this winter. Got a chance to watch him look good in the bullpen and had an incredible spring for the Wildcats. And then we got a chance to watch him at the Forest Acres Classic with the Wildcats. And I remember we were sitting back there, me and Sean were sitting there, and he was pitching against boys out of Virginia.
Billy Wagner's son.
Yeah, Billy Wagner's team. Yeah, Billy Wagner's son was pitching. Now the Hankins boy, and he's carving, right? And he's got that little, and we're like, what is he cutting his fastball? What's he doing with that pitch? And I go over there and ask Coach Faulkner, and he's like, it's a cutter. He literally just learned it like 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's throwing that little cutter. It's an upper 80s fastball with a little bit of a cutter. The cutter is a little bit of a hybrid cutter, slider, or whatever it is at times. Throws a curveball and a changeup in there, but he's got great composure, great mound presence up there. Really attacks the hitters, kind of keeps them off balance. Tons of strikes, but very, very projectable frame and oozes that confidence up there. And the one thing that you're always looking for pitchers that he has is command and strikes with the good stuff. So bright future for Ryder Carlson.
Yeah, you took my guy, but that's all right. I'll get over it.
What's your hand signal?
I'm glad you took him so you could go away from Lexington for once in your life.
Why don't you head down to the beach? You know what I mean?
Well, that's where I'm going, Coach. We're going with Micah Morgan out of May River. He's coming down there. He's going to, go in that low slot. We got to see him at the preseason All-State, and I don't think we got a chance to see him during the high school season, but I got a chance to see him hit when they were up here playing against Airport in Columbia. And he's a guy that obviously is the physicality has come a long way just in the last 6 months. He's a guy that, he was like 81 to 84, I want to say, like I said, with that low slot, spinning 2 different breaking balls and then change up off of it as well. It's going to be a tough angle for some hitters to pick up. And I just think, he's had a couple of looks this summer, I want to say. I think he might have had some video out there on him from Lake Point, but he's a guy that's, he's going to mix in a lot of strikes as well. And I'm hoping that those that slider and that curveball, that's they're playing off of each other a good amount as well. So he's a guy that's, he's going to have an opportunity to throw some strikes down there and have some success. So looking forward to seeing Micah.
I mean, I've been on the blacksmith train the whole time. I was about to go someone else, but you know what? Let's do this. Lucas McElhoe. Coach, we saw him at Wooford.
Wooford.
He was barking like a terrier when he came out on the mound. But we knew about him previously.
I would have thought he was, Coach, I thought he was barking a little louder than a terrier.
Terrier. That's like Espo's dog.
It's a little yapper.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of terrier you got.
Huh? What? What's her name? Daisy? Something like that.
Daisy's Daisy's the next door neighbor's dog.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, lock it down.
It's okay. Back to the I'm sorry, he's no longer a terrier. He's a dog. He's a DAWG. We knew about it a little bit. The frame looks good, right? Tall, lanky kid's got some room to add there, but he hopped on the mound. It's like this kid's pretty good. Upper 80s as well. Hey, spun the ball well. I think he's got a shot too. Hey, late
Indian land, baby.
Coach, curveball and slider both are spinning in the 2900s.
Yep. Spun it. Is that okay?
Coach, that's pretty good. Coach, that's pretty good. Two different breaking balls, really spinning them.
I hadn't seen somebody spin that like that in a while.
So watch out now. We'll see. Who we got left here? I got our boy. I'm gonna hang out back down to the beach. Eli Chowney. So, Go another left-hander here. So Eli was with us last summer. Eli was, speaking of top prospects, came to top prospect games last summer after coming to super sophomores. And Eli was at a scout day this past summer. Sean was not there. Was supposed to be there, but he blew that one off with another state. But he was came to an event not too long ago, and Eli, very pitchability, kind of that prototypical lefty build, low 3/4 slot, mid to upper 80s with some arm side run and some sink with a good changeup and a breaking ball. So, last summer, kind of making the progression, right? Kind of a low to mid 80s left-hander. Now he's a mid to upper 80s left-hander. So Eli kind of going in the right direction. Also handles the bat. He's just going to be pitching for us this week, but kind of good overall athlete. Kind of weird to say for left-handers. No knock on you guys, but kind of a good overall athlete. Kind of do multiple things, but really looking forward to seeing how he continues to progress and perform this week.
Another good athlete in Junior Lopez from the P27 Academy. He's been up to 92, 93 from the left side. I mean, we're down there in Charleston during the tournament at the beginning of June. I didn't get to see him pitch in person, but he was running around there in center field for that Palmetto Blacksmiths team that won that 17U division down there. Power up! How'd that happen? But he was a guy that running.
I don't coach 17U. That's why.
Still same order, whatever. But Junior's a guy that had a chance to see him at the he went up to that Academy's event with in North Carolina, so I got to see some video of him up there. And I mean, the fastball is going to be coming in there. He's got a good breaking ball as well, so a big time athlete. And we're going to get to see him on the opposite quad coming in game 2 against that team Southeast. He's going to be playing on field 13 over there, so hopefully have a lot of eyes on him. So look forward to seeing Junior.
See, now's when I wish I had Austin on here, because you'd have 2 power bolts coming for your head right now. God, John, you're killing us. You would be, because you stay in that Lexington area there. Might as well just, whatever. Be a cat the rest of your life. I don't know how you can be a Wildcat if you hate the Tigers. They're all from the same family. Anyway, good point. It's a good point.
Just talk to himself.
He's steaming.
All this will get underway tomorrow with the senior futures, and our future games will begin on Wednesday. Junior future games will begin on Thursday. A lot of content, coach, is going to be rolling out. My gosh, for the next who knows anymore. We'll have some videos of hitters, pitchers, and then we'll have some extra content as well, pictures. Mic'd up, all the fun stuff in between there, and podcast along the way. We'll let you know when we'll go live again. Not 100% sure when, but we'll have players from those 3 teams on that podcast as well.
Coach, it's going to be, we might, as my kids call it, crash out in the middle to the back end of this week, but it's going to be one hell of a week. Fired up to get these players out there in one heck of an environment and have them be able to perform at their best. And this, there's nothing like it. It really is not because we have prep baseball across our chest or on our hat, whatever we're wearing, but it's really second to none. And you know what? We're going to drop it. We'll drop the streaming link on one of our social media accounts here over the day. So people back home, if they want to be able to take a look at this thing, and you don't even just have to, hopefully you're just following the South Carolina players, but if you want to click on a different game, a different quad, see what's going on and see the talent level of players that are down here, I suggest you guys do that, because this is incredible. An incredible environment, incredible facility, and just incredible talent overall that's going on down here. So it's going to be a fun week for us, and we'll probably want to kill each other when it's all said and done when we're done here. And guess what? The following week we'll get to do it again with the super sophomore. But that's for another week.
Should be fun. Look forward to it.
If Austin passes away, it was not my fault. We're going to have movie night if you guys want to join.
That's the next podcast.
Hey, no, the first movie on deck is going to be Norbit for all of you viewers. Happy Gilmore's coming out soon. We're gonna have fun.
We're gonna move this over to what is it? Twitch? What is the streaming thing?
Twitch. There you go.
Twitch. We're just gonna move it over to Twitch.
Hey, Twitch. We might be on Twitch. We might do our movie night live on Twitch.
That's what I'm talking about.
Drink some PB lights and watch some Norbit. Hey, when in Lake Point, you got to have fun, right? Lake Point stays at Lake Point, right, Sean? Except for the win over North Carolina. That's the only thing that doesn't stay there. I don't have anything else, guys. You got anything here?
Nothing.
Nada.
All right. Well, make sure you're staying tuned to all the social media accounts. There's a lot of content we'll roll out. So, hey, enjoy your week. But from all of us here at Prep Baseball, South Carolina, we hope you have a great few days until we see you again.